Good morning, everyone. My name is Nadia Smith. I'm BEKA Schréder's Senior Communications Officer. Welcome to our webinar. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to presenting to you our lighting solutions for the mining environment this morning. If you have any questions during the webinar, please type them into the question mark tab. We will answer them after the presentation. Joining us again is Sophie Vinders. She is the Digital Internal Communication and E-Learning Manager from Schréder. We're working from a platform which is still new to us, and she will be assisting us to ensure everything runs smoothly. Most of us are presenting from home, so please also excuse any garden wildlife or children's noises in the background. I would like to run you through our structure this morning and also to introduce our speakers. Philip Vermeulen, our branch manager for the industry sector, will provide an overview of BEKA Schréder and the solutions we offer for the mining environment. David Fitzpatrick is an industrial technical sales representative from the industry branch and will talk to you about our products which are suitable for the mining environment. Ewald Huggett, also an industrial technical sales representative from the industry branch, will take you through some return on investment examples. And Peter Fenter, our assistant industrial manager, will talk to you about the marketing support which we can offer. As mentioned before, this will be followed by our Q&A session. And last but not least, we will ask you to complete a short poll to give us feedback so that we can improve going forward. I'm now handing over to Philip Vermeulen.
Good morning, everybody. I just want to say thank you for your time for joining this webinar, and I hope we can enlighten you with some good South African mining luminaire initiatives. I just want to start with an interesting South African mining history fact. For those of you who are born and bred in South Africa, and if I had to ask you where the first mine was built in South Africa, I'm sure most of you would say it was the Kimberley mine, which is the Groot Gat, but in actual fact, it's not. There was a small town in the Northern Cape called Springbok, and the first mine was built in 1852, and it was a copper mine. So leaving you with this thought, I would just like to start the brief overview. Okay. BEKA Schréder, we've been a lighting and glass fiber pole manufacturer for the last 40 years. I do believe we're a specialist in this industry. As a local manufacturer, it's important to understand what we can give you as our customers. And for those of you who have dealt with us, there's quite a few bullet points in here, and I'm just going to mix them, so don't expect them in order. But I just want to tell you about who we are and what we do. So as the industrial division and the OEM of our product, I think it's important to mention that we have gone to the industry and manufactured luminaires and to the needs and the requirements of our customers. We've basically taken luminaires and designed it according to the needs. So in saying this, mining is a very harsh environment, and will put any electrical and mechanical equipment to very severe testing. So there's harsh ambient temperatures, corrosive environments, dust, and highly vibrative areas. So with this, we have a really good R&D team that specialize in helping us when we bring them, obviously, some technical issues from the mines, that we can actually develop any product that will sustain these harsh environments. So this means we're always hands-on with the latest technology, the latest LED technology, and possible lighting solutions. We also, because we've been trading for more than 40 years, we have a very big customer base that's been with us for more than 40 years, and we stretch all the way from South Africa all the way up into sub-Saharan Africa. And my colleague Peter Fenter will just show a few of those names. Thank you. Here you see a top view of BEKA Schréder's head office in Olifantsfontein. And this is honestly where I can say the magic happens. Under these few roofs, you will have our R&D department, our photometry lab, our industrial division, sales divisions from other departments, and our main assembly line. If you haven't had the privilege to come and see it, please contact us afterwards as our customers. We'd love to come and show you what we do and how we do it. The factory is actually under a massive revamp at the moment. And, in a month or two after the COVID-19, I think we're going to have a really special showroom to show all our customers. As a lighting manufacturer, again, I think being in the business for more than 40 years, we've got quite a few segments that we actually are specialists in: ambience lighting, road and urban flood lighting, and industry lighting. So industry is our forte, and I can honestly say, as a team leader and working with the branch, the guys get excited when they go to a mine and they come from a mine. So to you as our customers, we can actually give you a really good solution. For industry and mining to function properly, there are key players to provide different and essential processes to get to the end result, even if it's iron ore, wood, glass manufacturing. And as a company, we've been able to create product to run in all these environments, like haulage lighting, which is all underground mining, industrial halls and warehouses, which is, for example, is Eskom, industrial harbors, materials handling machinery like big stackers and reclaimers, conveyor belts. With all of these in mind, I can honestly say, you as our customer, if you need an end result for your product and projects, we can definitely help you. I think that's the end of my introduction. And, I just want to say again, thank you. I'm going to now hand you to my colleague, David Fitzpatrick, who's just going to quickly run through some of our industrial products and give you a brief overview of what we have and what we do. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Philip. My name is David Fitzpatrick, and I work for the BEKA Schréder Industrial Division. We supply locally designed and manufactured LED luminaires. I must say it's quite a weird platform, this talking. I'm used to talking one-on-one to a customer, so just excuse me if I get a bit demarcated with it. Anyway, hopefully we get back to our normal way of doing business soon. In my 10 years of being at BEKA, it's amazing to see how suddenly the market has changed completely 180 degrees from HID to LED. And I'm proud to say that we can now offer LED luminaires for any lighting requirement. If I think back when we started, we've got the picture now of the LEDnova, but even before the LEDnova, we had a HID bulkhead, which was known as a supernova. And we thought, okay, let's take that fit in, use the casing, we've already got it. And we made a retrofit plate that we put on the inside. Then we started to realize all the challenges that came with LED, thermal dissipation. How do we get the heat to get out of the fitting, the optical compartments. And then this led us to invest in looking for a complete new LED solution, which can handle all of these challenges that we have. And this brings me to the LEDnova, which I'm proud to introduce to you, which is tried and tested in the industrial market. If you look at the LEDnova, we do it in 2 wattages. We've got a 20 wattage range, from 20 to 81 watts. And we do it with the mini and the midi. The midi was the original one. And why we brought out the mini is for the lower power ranges. If you look at the LED engine, where the LEDs are itself, we found by putting it into the bigger midi, there was a lot of wasted space. So obviously we're always looking to how we can improve and how we can adapt the fitting to bring down costs, but we don't want to compromise on the quality or the reliability of the fitting. So that brought us into bringing in the LEDnova Mini, which has completed this range. If you look at the LEDnova, we standardize on a 4000 Kelvin. which to us is a neutral white. It's a very nice color. It's not too white and it's not too yellow. We have got certain customers, and we can offer it as an option, that want to go over to 3000 Kelvin. A lot of guys in the market say some of their plants are way in the sticks, and they don't want to attract a lot of insects. So being the OEM, we have got that ability that we can adapt it to your requirements. The voltage is a standard voltage range, but we can also offer a universal driver. And I think this is important for a lot of the mines that work on 110 volts. The lifetime of the LED unit, we're looking at 100,000 hours at L90. Now, not everyone understands the concept of the L90. Briefly, what that means is over the lifetime of the luminaire, it should not have a lumen depreciation of greater than 10%. So it could be that an LED fails or the lumen depreciates, but your initial lumen value from when you got it shouldn't decrease by 10%. These luminaires typically replace the old conventional HID bulkheads up to 150 watts. On the next slide, I'd like to introduce you to some features of the LEDnova. Here you can see we do a big array of mounting options. And I think with all these arrangements, we should be able to cover all installation requirements. We do the standard one is the mounting lug, which is a wall or a ceiling mounted. That's the standard lugs that they use on the bulkheads. We can also do it as a pole mounted version, or we can do it with a stirrup, which is like a floodlight bracket. I think if you look down at the bottom, you will see the breather. That is something, we talk about paying school fees. BEKA's been continuously looking at ways to improve our luminaires, and what that breather does is it helped to equalize the pressure within the fitting and also reduce condensation within the LED engine. Because what we were finding is after installation, we used to find sometimes dew, it looked like dew or water droplets in the inside. So by putting the breather in there, we've managed to eliminate that problem, because obviously we don't want water to fall onto the PCB and damage the LED engine. Because typically we don't want anyone to go into that LED engine to compromise the integrity of the luminaire. I'm very proud to say we're one of the few OEM manufacturers that plays around in the explosive environment zone luminaires. For this range, we can do zone 2, 21, and 22. But not just with the LEDnova, we do it in quite a lot of the range throughout our products. But please just consult with your sales representative if the need arises and you do have applications for zone luminaires. You can see the bottom right-hand side, we've got the LEDnova with a red cover. This is to indicate an emergency version. It is an integrated system, but only in the MIDI. If you look at the Mini, we don't have the space to put the inverter and the battery pack. So with the LEDnova, the MIDI, everything is built into the inside. What we do find is a lot of our clients prefer to go the route of having a UPS on system for maintenance purposes. And we have had it that we can, color the lid for them, so we can also still indicate to them which one that they have got on the UPS system. Very important. IP66 is especially for the mine environments. I mean, you guys know the mines that we go to, very harsh environments. We even silicon the lens in for added protection, even though our R&D guys say we don't need it, but would rather be belt and braces when it comes to that. Okay, moving on to the next slide, we're going to talk about some more of the features. Okay, here if you look at the body, this is our latest version of the LEDnova. You can see now we're making use of a marine grade aluminium high pressure die cast aluminium housing. Now the aluminium is good for the dissipation of the heat, and if you look at the LED engine, we actually have the LED engine, sorry, my screen's disappeared. We actually have the LED engine mounted onto the body of the luminaire to dissipate that heat and to get it out. Also, if you look at the side of the luminaire, we've got new vertical fins, which also aid in the dissipation of the heat. And what happens is a lot of the dirt and the dust actually falls through those vents. Surge protection, another thing that we paid heavy school fees in the beginning. A lot of our companies overseas don't really, a lot of them can't understand why we put surge protection in our fittings, but I think with our power grid and with all the surges and spikes we get, it's a must. And you can see from the diagram, we actually put in the surge protection before the driver. Why we're doing that is we're trying to protect the driver and the LED engine, because the driver is quite an expensive component. You know, you're looking at about R1,000 for a quality driver. A lot of products on the market have the surge protection built into the driver, but to me, I mean, if your driver's gone, you know, you've lost a big part of the luminaire. Future proof, what that means is if you do have a failure within the luminaire, we can supply you, as the OEM, we can supply you the components to put in it. Let's say 3 years down the line, we give you a new LED engine, but we might be able to do it with a lot less due to the efficiencies improving continuously with the LEDs. This is where Schréder is very strong in our LensoFlex and the optics that we use. Remember, an LED is just a light source. So it's what you do with that light source that makes it important, and how we direct that light to get it onto the ground, you know, where the light is needed. We've got a big variety. So I could offer you this luminaire and it would look the same, but in 10 different variations. And each one's going to give you a totally different lighting distribution. Very important as well, we have Thermex built in. If you see at the top right-hand side, what that means is it's an electronic monitoring system. It monitors the heat of the luminaire on the inside. So as much as the LED, as much as the aluminium body dissipates the heat, it also attracts heat. And we find in a lot of the plants, a lot of the guys have the lights burning 24/7, be it for a failed day-night switch or whatever the reason. So what we're wanting to do is protect the LED and protect the unit. So it's going to dim it down to run it at a cooler temperature. If it gets too hot, it'll switch off. It doesn't mean it's faulty. It just means it's waiting for the temperature to cool down before it'll switch on again. But normally, you know, it's going to have to be extreme conditions for that to happen. Okay, if we move on to the next slide. This is a typical installation of our LEDnova. What's interesting about this photo, it's an iron ore mine, and this is our pole mounted version. But those poles in the background is actually the iron ore concentrate that is baking onto the poles. So, you know, when I talk about harsh environments, this is probably one of the harshest ones. I mean, we've had fittings come back completely, it looks like they've been powder coated, and you know, they withstand these type of conditions. So very, very popular for conveyors. Other places where we use the LEDnova is we use it, you know, for security lighting round the perimeters. We use it at entrances. We use it inside spiral plants. So there's so many applications for this fitting. And obviously, I'm just touching on a few of the minor points, but you can get a detailed brochure on the complete fitting. Okay, Nadia, move on to the next one for me, please. Okay, now I come up to our OPTIWAY OPTILINK. Now, this is an interesting fitting because we looked at what we needed for underground haulages, because currently what we see in the market is the guys were using the standard plug-in bayonets energy saver. Then there were certain products on the market, LED, but they were diffused where it was just given a glob of light. So we went to our R&D and we said, guys, look, we need a solution where we can give the guys lighting, but where you can get the lighting directed. And that's the one beauty of the optics. We can now direct that light to where we want it to. So with the OPTILINK, the optic is actually throwing the light in both directions. So if you imagine it in the middle of a haulage, it's throwing it in both directions. So that way we can maximize the space in between the luminaires. A lot of the guys are, especially at the mine, they want it made up in 100-meter rolls. I think that's just what the market's dictated over the years. So we can do it for the client. either in 5, 7.5, or 10 meter spacing. That then we call the OPTILINK. It actually clips into the box. You can see at the bottom there. And it makes it quite a secure fit in that it makes it vandal proof, that it can't just be removed. You need to get in there with a screwdriver or something to release it, to get it out again. Once it's connected, it's got a high IP rating of 66. So there again, we're eliminating guys drilling into the luminaire itself. Because what I have seen as well in a lot of the mines is, they use a well glass, but the guys drill into it to let the water release, and then it compromises the IP rating. The input voltage on this, we use 90 to 305. It's also the universal driver that we use, because obviously a lot of the mines underground work on 110 volt. We've got 3 versions available: the 10 watt, 8 watt, 10 watt, and 13 watt. Okay, next we're going to move on to installation that we did. Here you can see this one, the installation is on the side of the haulage. Sometimes they do it in the middle, but as you can see, if you look at the photo, you can see the uniformity of the light. There's no dark patches in between. This was at a 7.5 meter spacing at a mounting height of 3.5 meters. So you can see the uniformity that we're getting. Look, obviously it's enhanced a lot by the whitewash on the walls that adds to the reflectance of the luminaire. But bringing this out for a haulage light, what was interesting to see, once we brought it into the market, we found a lot of different applications for this light as well. And I know our R&D guys don't like me mentioning this, but a lot of our clients have been using it as security lighting. We've had some guys using it as perimeter lighting, as a made-up 100-meter roll already around his perimeter fencing. Carports, very popular, in bathrooms, outside offices. So there's a lot of different applications for this fitting. So please download the brochure, have a look at it. I think there's definitely a place for this in the market. Okay. Yeah, just getting my bearings again. Okay, I'm very excited about this light because, we industrial, so we just want something plain that works and is reliable. But this is something a bit more decorative that we've introduced now. We do it with 2 wattages, the 18 and the 36 watt. This is a typical replacement for older HID bulkheads up to 100 watts with a mounting height up to about 7 meters. To me, the biggest advantage of this light is, if you look at the LED engine, it's downward facing. So there's no glare. It's offering you a glare-free solution with no light pollution. So there's no light going back up into the sky. And also, if you look at the white reflector that we have underneath there, with the asymmetrical distribution that it's given, it's further enhanced by this highly efficient white reflector. This is a fitting that when I saw it, I wasn't too sure, but I promise you, when you see it on, it's a completely different scenario. Then you really see the effects of this light. So I think there's a lot of applications for us for this. Saying that, we can also make it with an integrated day-night switch or movement sensor to further enhance energy savings. A lot of times the lights are on, but they might not necessarily need to be on all night. So let's look at saving some more power by putting on a motion sensor or something, that we don't have to. We can always have light. We can just maybe ramp it down to, say, 50%, and then it will ramp up again. That's the beauty with LED. We can do that with these type of controls. The manufacturing and design of this bulkhead has got a removable back plate, which is easy for installation. So we don't have to have the client drilling into the luminaire, because what we find a lot of times is the guys drill into the luminaire, then they compromise the IP rating. Then they come to us and they say, but your fitting's faulty or whatever. But ideally, we don't want anyone to get into the LED engine or we just want to make the connection for them as simple as possible. It's also great for corrosive environments. We use stainless steel screws, clamps, and fasteners. And what I would suggest then, if you are using the coast, we can also put helicoils in, so you don't have the screws fusing to the actual aluminium body. Typical installations, I think this will be good for where the client is looking for a more decorative solution, for something a bit more aesthetically pleasing. Office buildings, shopping centers, outdoor and around substations, housing developments. We're still trying to get our head around this for the mining environment, but you know, the office blocks they've gotten there around the winder houses, the workshops and the outside, you know, so I think we've just got to give it a bit more thought, but there's a lot of applications for this, and it's really something new for us that we're really going to promote. Okay, Nadia, go to the next one for me, please. Okay, this is our new OMNIblast-E Maxi, which is a high-powered LED floodlight. As you can see from the picture, it comes in 3 modules. You can either get it as a single module, 2 module, or a 3 module configuration, depending on the client's needs. This range would typically replace your HID older floodlights, you know, from 600 watt to 2 kilowatt. So we're already up at that level where we're competing with the 2 kilowatt floodlights with heights of up to 55 meters. We've got a large range of optics available, you know, to maximize your lighting uniformity. The 2 and 3 modular version, if you look at the back on the stirrup, you'll see the gear control. We've actually had clients requesting that we remote that gear so they can put it in a kiosk down at the bottom of the mast, sorry, you know, for easy, not easy installation, but for easy maintenance and easy access to it instead of having to climb up on the mast the whole time. It can also be supplied with upward lighting. It can supply, sorry, we can supply it with a hood, which is great for spill or upward lighting, as well as vertical louvers to optimize the glare control. It's a very robust fitting, which is hail, corrosion, and vandal proof. The optic compartments, they're quite lightweight and they're quite easy to aim on site, but we can also offer it with a telescopic aiming device for precision. You know, if you've done a design for a professional sports field, that we can pinpoint exactly where that luminaire is shining to. Installation for this would typically be high mast lighting, area lighting, sports lighting. I know we've got a nice reference and a nice video that I think is on our website of the Paarl Boys High hockey field that they did. And I'm telling you, when you see the uniformity, it's incredible how we're directing that light to where we need it. And the uniformity is amazing. Okay, if you go to the next slide, this is now the OMNIblast-E MIDI high power. It's same family as the Maxi, it's just where we use it where you've got less light required. It's almost like the younger sibling of the Maxi. This will typically replace your 250 to 1 kilowatt conventional HID floodlights, and comes in wattages from 245 to 290 watts. Also various optics available. All of our products on this webinar, we've got photometric data for lighting designs, and on both the Maxi and the MIDI. Also, I think here, typical installations, you know, I keep coming back to the, I think why I keep coming back to sports stadiums, because I think that's what it was introduced for originally. But for the mining applications, high masts, area lighting, around the buildings, you know, we've just got to do comparisons between what we have and going forward with the OMNIblast MIDI. But I think there is quite a lot of applications that we have that we can do. Okay, Nadia, if you go to the next one, is our OmniStar. Sorry, I know she's going to moan at me. She told me I mustn't tell her to change slides the whole time, but I'm a bit on my nerves. Anyway, OmniStar Maxi and MIDI. We've got 2 versions of this. The MIDI, we do wattages from 108 to 216 watts, and the Maxi 321 to 455 watt. The Maxi will cover areas that require higher lux levels. Certain versions of this of these OmniStars are available for zone 2, 21 and 22. And what we do nowadays, not just on these fittings, but on any of our fittings, we can do an e-coating. It actually comes from the car technology that they use on paintwork. So we can coat it with an e-coating, which actually protects the fittings in harsh corrosive environments. And it's also a lot cheaper than what we used to do. Years back, we used to do Teflon coating, and a lot of the times that almost doubled the price of the luminaire. So we're very excited to introduce the new e-coating, but not just for this range, available throughout the whole range. The OmniStar range will typically replace, if you look at the MIDI, would typically replace your HID floodlight and high base 250 watts up to 1 kilowatt, and sorry, the 1 kilowatt you'll probably be looking then at the Maxi. So that range from 250 to 1 kilowatt between the two of them. Also, depending on your mounting height and where we're going to install it, we've got the photometric data, so all we need to do is just do a simulation for you, and we can give you we'll always look for the right amount of lux that you comply, but with the least amount of energy used. That's always been our motto at BEKA. Okay, so also typical examples, it sort of overlaps a bit with our last two slides that we did with the OMNIblast. So again, it will cover a lot of the high mast area lighting. The high bay applications will come into workshops, converter aisles, storage areas, warehouse in between racking. We've used it, and this brings us up to our new LEDbay on the next slide. Now this one, the previous slide, we did use the MIDI as a LEDbay, but we had a lot of people saying with it being square, it looked sometimes a bit off center if it moved. So this is traditionally, when we think of a high bay, how we perceive it. So this was introduced in 3 wattages, 132 watt, 158 and 177 watt. So this will typically replace your old HID high bays up to 400 watts. It's got a long lifetime and low maintenance. And this is important for the mines, especially because remember, when these lights get installed, it's not always very easy access to those areas. So, downtime for these guys costs a lot of money. So, you're looking at this light, you're looking at 10 years plus maintenance free. So you shouldn't really pick up any problems with it. And if you look at the vertical fins on the side again, so that you're not going to really get the dust accumulating on the luminaire. It's going to fall through those vents, and it's also an IP65, so it's a great solution for heights of up to about between 4 and 12 meters. There again, you just have to contact us so we can play around with the different optics that we have to give you the best solution. Okay, and then because we're also using the mid-power LED, sorry, Nadia, I need you to go one back again. I paused too long there. Thank you. Because we're also using the mid-power LED, we're using a lot more LEDs than our high power version. So what this means, it's actually helps us, it gives us a low unified glare rating. And if you look at the picture, you can see the heat sinks using the vertical ribs, which is good for airflow and heat dissipation. We can also do this in a zone 21, 22 version, as well as an emergency. And you can see on the picture, there's a motion sensor that we can adapt. So once again, a lot of areas maybe don't need to be lit 100%. Let's dim it down. Let's get even more energy saving from already efficient luminaire to even more. Okay, Nadia, you can move on now to the next one. Okay, our BEKA vapor line, also known as our VLN. 2 wattages available in this luminaire. The 30 watt typically replaces the old T8 2x36 watts fluorescence. 46 watts, typically the T8 2x58 watt fluorescence. This luminaire is designed to provide a long-term solution for harsh industrial environments. It's a strong mechanical design, makes it highly resistant to shock and vibration. And I think, if you look at the plants, we've got a lot of vibration in the plants that we deal with. While its IP rating of 65 makes it ideal for dusty and wet locations. If you look at the diffuser, you can see that it's it gives you a very uniform lighting distribution of low glare due to the prismatic diffuser design, because it's a bit opaque, so it's not a clear diffuser. but it's giving you a very good light output ratio. We can also do it for zone 2 applications and can also be done for emergencies. I was thinking about applications for this. Basically, anywhere where you used to use fluorescence previously, you know, there's so many applications for this. We actually had a client phone us and tell us the fitting was running hot, but when we got to him, he actually meant it was too bright. And I'm telling you, you can't believe the uniformity and the amount of light that this gives. You know, when you see it in installation, then you understand the power that we're getting from this luminaire. So it's definitely a need in the market for this and a quality fit-in. It doesn't come with surge protection, but we can put it in as an added option if you're worried about you know, the power not being so stable on site. Okay, our next slide was also our fluorescent, our rough guard, and the name says it all, rough. I mean, it's a very robust fit-in. It's not something that I'm very familiar with. I tend to stick more to you know, the VLN, but this one, I believe, in the olden days, even before it was converted to LED, was very popular within the mining industry because they actually put the diffusers actually attached to the aluminium body with tamper-proof screws, and the diffuser is actually, it's a high IK rating, so that the prisoners couldn't take it apart or break it, because a lot of concerns with the wardens were they would actually break it to make weapons from it. So it was very popular within that industry, but it is built to take the punch. 3 wattage is available in this, 7 watt, which would be in the smaller unit, and then a 26 and 56 watt, which would be in the longer version. All 3 versions of these we can do with emergency mode, and also the same as the VLN again. I think if you think of typical installations, 2x18, 2x36, 2x58 watt fitting. So there again, you know, there's a lot of applications for this luminaire. Okay, going on to the next slide. Okay, our LEDlume range. This is our street light and high masts range. Street light and LED flood. I sell more of the LED flood because obviously we've got guys that do street lighting. They would be more involved with the LEDlume. It's basically the same fitting, but we just have 2 different applications for it. You've got 3 versions within this family. You've got the mini, the midi, and the maxi. Now, if you look at the difference between the LEDlume and the LED flood, you see at the back of the LEDlume, there's actually a back entry spigot. So, you know, from your pole, your spigot, you can connect it into your luminaire. Whereas the LED flood has a stirrup bracket, a floodlights bracket, where we can adjust onto the sides. Also, the LEDlume, if you look, it's got a hinge compartment. So this is great for ease of maintenance. You know, if you've got a problem with it, it unhinges. As soon as you unhinge it, it disconnects the power. The guys can take it off, replace it, or when they're putting it together, they can put it in the base first and then put the fitting on top of it. So for future proof, it's ideal. We can also supply it with a tamper-proof screw to ensure that no one can remove it, because the guys say, you know, if it can just clamp off, then it's going to disappear. Thermex throughout the whole range of the LEDlume and LED flood, and it's got standard KVA surge protection device. Also, with cities going smart, we can also provide outlet, which is a remote control lighting. What it does, it controls a lighting network, but that's a whole different conversation on its own. But there are a lot of controls that we can add to the street lighting. You know, people talk nowadays about the IoT, the Internet of Things, and smart cities. We've got all of that in place, but like I said, that's a completely different subject on its own. Okay, Nadia, go to the next page for me. I love this picture. This is one we did a mine out in Rustenburg, and we took a drone and we actually flew over the mine to see, you know, what it looked like after the installations. And this is where you can see just how effective LED is. We replaced this on a 1-for-1. It's our 276 watt LED flood with a narrow beam optic because it's mounted on a 30-meter mast. So obviously we want that light to be able to penetrate and to hit and reach the ground. So we used a very narrow beam optic to get the light to the ground. We'll be measuring the lux level. But if you look, you don't see any light pollution. I mean, those fittings are raked at 0 degree. So there's no light pollution. And you know, our R&D guys say whenever you fly over anywhere, or you go over the townships or anywhere where there's a lot of mast lighting, you always see a lot of light pollution. So with the LED, this shows you once again how we can achieve such big energy saving because we're focusing that light where it needs to go. Okay, that brings me up to my last product to discuss, which is our BEKA Solar. Welcome to sunny South Africa. What more can I say? We have the ideal conditions for solar. We offer a complete solar solution with wattages from 36 to 80 watt. These solutions are popular, especially off-grid or where there's no reticulation, because obviously a lot of areas that need to be lit, if there's no power there, getting power to there just becomes too expensive. And also everyone is trying to go green, and you know, the constraints on our grid, we see this as the future of lighting going forward, in the way that people are going to be buying luminaires. And if you look at the advancements in the developments happening in battery technology and power storage capacity, it's moving at a phenomenal rate. But that is something for the future, and we're really getting involved with different types of technology here. When I say we offer a complete solution, if you look at this one that we have in the picture, you'll see the panel and the box. The box is housed in the batteries. Now, you might have 2 batteries in there, maybe 30 or 40 kilogram each. Your panel's raked at a certain degree. You know, so you must imagine the windage and the stress on that pole. So when I say complete package is, you know, we supply you with the pole. We can either do it in a 6 meter or an 8 meter, surface mounted or planted, but it's engineered to be able to handle that weight, because our panel, we can also rake it to certain geographical areas to maximize the efficiency of the sun during the day. Obviously closer to the equator you would put it more horizontal and closer away, but we've got all that information, so we'll know where to position the panel and at what angle to maximize your efficiency. Okay, saying that, our solar solution is designed to operate reliably at a high lumen output for a 12 to 14 hour period. And it also caters for up to 3 days of overcast and rainy weather. There's a lot of, I don't want to say scrupulous people in the market, but if we see what people are offering, you know, what the people are offering and what they're claiming, there's no way it can be done. But people get hoodwinked because, you know, they come and then they see after a while, but my light's not lasting through the night, you know, and they don't know why. But if you look at their calculations and what they're getting to, you know, they haven't got the right capacity. So this is definitely a topic for the future. And I know we are planning some webinars around this, you know, to give you guys more knowledge, even as is the sales reps. I mean, you know, we get excited about this because there's definitely a big future in this. And, you know, what our engineers were telling us the other day is we've actually got to become specialists in battery technology, and that more than the lighting side of things, because that is the heart and the whole engine of this process. But keeping that in mind, we have got solar solutions. Comes in a tamper-proof frame. You know, I laugh because the problem we have in our country, I'll be upfront, is we get a lot of theft. And you know, we put it in tamper-proof, but there's nothing really tamper-proof here. So one of the issues we do have is a lot of times is theft. But we try and make it as difficult as possible, obviously. And what some of our clients have done is concreted halfway up the pole so the guys can't cut the poles down. But, you know, end of the day, if they want it, they're going to get it. But I wouldn't let that put us off. Like I say, it's definitely the future. Okay, then if you go to the next slide, I'm just going to show you a typical installation example. But if you look at this was done in, I think it was in the Northern Cape. You can see at the intersection. But if you look at the uniformity the guys are achieving on the road, obviously, you know, they've got to do a design to whatever class road they're on, and they've got to comply. But I mean, you can see the uniformity there it's great. So something to look at. It's not the cheapest to go solar, but it's definitely something where you're not on the grid, that it might be viable to look at. And prices, the more technology is advancing, I see pricing's dropping quite a bit as well. So exciting future, and it's going to be something to look out for. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for your time. I hope I didn't waffle on too much, and we'll all get through this COVID together. I need to get out and see customers. I'm going mad. Anyway, I want to hand you over to my colleague Ewald. Ewald, over to you.
Thank you, David. Good all. Hope you're well and safe during this period. Firstly, I want to ask you, what do you see when you look at the slide? And if you give me a chance, let me please tell you what I see. So what I see is an opportunity, you know, to assist my clients in making a difference. Not only with minimizing their energy saving, maintenance costs, or reduction on downtime, but also I see an opportunity with helping them reducing their carbon footprint. Looking at the assumed example of the industrial plant, you will notice that by replacing 300 100-watt metal halide bulkheads with 300 of our 70-watt LEDnova midis, there will be an energy saving of 13.8 kilowatt. That is a 40% reduction in consumption. So in return, this will have a snowball effect on reducing cable sizes, smaller MCBs, and even smaller rated supply transformers, just to name a few, and yet again contributing to more saving. We will work hand in hand with our clients and assist with the return on investment and total cost of ownership calculations. And to be able to do so, we will ask all the necessary and relevant questions that will obviously enable us to provide the customer with the most accurate answers. So for this example, we calculated the total saving over a 10-year period to be 790,000 Rand. And there's a return on investment of 2.9 years. So if we move on, so here you will see a hypothetical example of high-mass lighting at a wastewater treatment plant. So here we are looking to replace 80 400-watt high-pressure sodium floodlights with 80 of our latest 276-watt LED flood maxis. And once again, you will notice that we will be able to reduce the energy consumption by 36% with a saving of 12.48 kilowatt. And the return on investment was calculated at 4.5 years and ended up with a total saving of 1.9 million Rand. And this was also calculated at a period of 10 years. So please, may I just remind you that we are able to meet with you in the office, out on site, assist with lighting simulation or surveys as well. So please don't hesitate to contact us. And regarding this, I just want to hand you over to my fellow colleague, Peter Venter, who will be able to elaborate even more. Thank you.
Thank you, Ewald. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In the industrial division, we can assist you with comprehensive 3D designs using the latest design software. All these designs are done in accordance to the specified lux levels as per the OSH Act or according to the mine's own specific lighting levels. We assist in lighting surveys and obviously the taking of light readings before and after installations. On the next slide, you will see from CAD or DWG drawings, we are able to render a very accurate lighting models, simulating what the end result would look like. And this is just another picture of an installation of a very satisfied customer. Some of our valued clients include these mining companies. Over the past years, we managed to secure various LED luminaires as stock and store items in the different plants. We can assist with any industrial project, whether it's big or small. We also have a very detailed mining brochure available. In this brochure, we provide guidelines on which luminaire is best suited for each different application. There's also an explanation on the different classified zoning areas. And this brochure is, of course, available on the BEKA Schréder website to download, or we can email it to you. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you all. Okay, so this takes us now to the Q&A session. Let me have a quick look. I'm going to read out the questions. Sorry, I've got a bit of a, there we go. Sorry, just bear with me. Okay, we've got a first question here. Do your LEDs have the 7-pin NEMA socket to allow for us to develop smart lighting solutions? Are you still linked to Owlet, who do not offer an open system, meaning you have to be locked into the 10-year cloud solution? Who could answer that one for us?
Good morning, it's Philip. Look, on the industrial side, I can say we don't actually deal so much with the NEMA socket and because of the environment, but on our road and urban side, we can. And I think, Nadia, if I can just ask, is this a customer?
Yes.
Okay, so basically what I think we should do is contact the client and give him an overview of what we can offer and what we do offer on the road and urban side. On the mining side, unfortunately, we haven't been involved with so much of the control gear and NEMA socket technology.
Okay, then we've got another question here. Hi there, for your LEDnova Mini, won't you lose your IP66 category with a breather fitted in?
No, it's a one-way breather. So basically, it's just for moisture out. And yes, we actually get that question quite often. We even get it for the, if dust compacts on it. And obviously, we've created certain things. If you have a really severe dusty environment, we have created a unit that looks like a metal pan that you can put over the unit in case you are worried about certain things. But no, there's no no dust, nothing will enter.
Okay, then another question. The BEKA solar system has been subject to a lot of vandalism and theft, especially used for municipal lighting. Any improvements for reducing the incidences?
Well, there I can agree with what David said. I think it's a very difficult thing. In South Africa, they take anything they want. On the mining side, what we have done with our clients, they have installed additional security systems where they would put bob wire around it that works on a spring-loaded system that's linked to a security company. That's about all we've done in security for it. It's very difficult to monitor, and obviously when people, they take live installations, they take a nail, they hit it through the live cable, it trips at the substation, and your product is switched off and they cut the pole off. So it's very difficult to stop theft. Yeah. We also have I don't know if whoever's asking that question, we have a theft spike that we can put on. So basically, it stops the guys from climbing up the pole, but normally they just cut the pole down. And actually, unfortunately, when they cut it down, because of the weight of the unit, your solar panel, your batteries, everything just breaks and it's actually just scrap metal that's left.
All right. Thank you. Then the next question. If the speaker could address the best environmentally friendly way to dispose of the old lights where replacements have taken place, one mine had that request to me. Thank you.
You know, that the customer that's asking that question, we have a check department, and basically we have facilities to get rid of certain products, and if they need help from us, or from certain areas, or we've even had customers asking on a buyback system. So yes, there is ways to dispose, and we can assist them with that, and the best way to do it. It's not a problem.
Okay, we've got another one here. Thank you for your presentation. Can you provide prices or estimated range for all your luminaires?
Okay, I think on that, I would please just ask if that client can email us on the industrial website, the industrial email address, industry@bekaschréder.co.za. That will come directly to our department, and we can assist that gentleman or lady with the pricing.
Okay, then what is the typical spacing of the light at that junction? I think that's the intersection.
Yeah, look, again, as depending on the class road that it is. So if a typical between 20 and 30 meters, and depending on what luminaire, and especially for solar, depending on what the need is for the road, that's what the spacing and the pole height will be.
Okay, then do you perhaps have any rivet families for your luminaires?
Sorry, what is a rivet family?
Sorry, perhaps I'm pronouncing it wrong, but rivet, maybe rivet. Sorry. R-E-V-I-T.
Maybe not talking about retrofit.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, look, in retrofit, we haven't gone into, let me start like this. David spoke earlier about the BEKA Supernova. The Supernova, we started as a retrofit LED. Retrofit, unfortunately, in LEDs, we've designed our luminaires with the LED because we try and put the LED as close as possible to the aluminium body for heat sink and heat dissipation. So if you're going to do a retrofit, the cost of putting in a heat sink and trying to get the heat out of a product is actually more expensive than trying to buy a new luminaire. So we did do a retrofit, but your LED, we try and do maximum lifespan of a LED. And to do that, you unfortunately have to listen to the LED what it needs, and it needs heat dissipation. So that's why we've done a 2-compartment product with LEDs on one and control key on one, with the thermic system where that actually controls the heat. Unfortunately, if you put a driver inside a closed luminaire, even with a heat sink, your driver will normally be a 90-degree ambient temperature, and it will switch off, it will flicker, it will do all sorts of things depending on the type of driver that you use.
Okay, great. Then the next question, is there a solar brochure?
Yes, there is. You can get it on our website. The latest one will be on our website. That's
okay. Sorry, I've got a message here. Sorry, regarding the rivet. It's actually rivet files will be. We don't have them yet, but we have the IES files available. So I hope that answers the question. Okay, then moving on to the next question. BEKA, does their projects direct with clients? Or are there opportunities for resellers?
Sorry, Nadia, just repeat the question.
Are there It says here, BEKA does their projects directly with clients. Are there opportunities for resellers?
Yeah, on that, we deal with a lot of the wholesalers, and we do help, you know, the people that quote on specific jobs. I think this client needs to contact us directly again, so we can see and understand what it's about, and we can give him better information.
All right. Then, why are your life expectancies in L90 and not the L you know, L number / B number format, or do we just assume the batch is 100%? Do you understand the question?
No, I think just repeat it for me.
Why are your life expectancies in L90 and not the L with the number and then B with the number format, the LB format?
I don't understand. Nadia,
we have this listed in the in the newer brochures that we've been sorry, I hit a blank now, but we are actually stating those in our newer brochures in that format. But I'm not a technical person to answer that question. Shall we move on? Perhaps we can. The B value is, yeah, the B value is stated in the new brochure. So I just got a confirmation here. So I hope that does answer the question. So we'll move on. Okay, I think that one we did answer. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I think that's actually it. Yeah, thank you for the clarification on the revert. Thank you so much. So I do hope that we did actually answer that question too. So I just got another, just back to the B value. So I got another message here, so I'm just going to read it. So from now on, we will always state the B value, and we always state values at B10. Thank you. So I hope, are there any further questions? No, then I think I'm going to thank you all so much for joining us this morning. Please email us should you require a recording of this webinar. We'll then send you a link. There are some product brochures available for download in the handouts tab, which you should be able to see there. We unfortunately are limited to 5 uploads, so please do not hesitate to visit our website or to get in touch with the industry branch for more information.